they're gone. Might even be able to walk the dog tonight in the metro without getting wet. But I-81 corridor, that's what we're concerned about tonight on both sides, even west of it, in the mountains toward Cumberland. And this is where all the big storms and heavy rain is training. And it's moving essentially from due south to due north. Notice it's not moving eastward toward the metro. That's not going to happen until the wee hours of the morning. So we'll zoom in, and we have, a few showers north, eastern Montgomery County and up into Prince George's County, but even those are about to exit and go to Baltimore. So we're going to have a little bit of a respite here in the metro. Heaviest rain, it's only moderate, is between Columbia and Baltimore, but the heavy rain really is out in the mountains. We already have some flash flood warnings to the south of Harrisonburg. We have aerial flood warnings for Grant County. So we're going to see some flooding, no doubt about it. We'll zoom in a little bit. Heaviest rain now just south of Kaiser. Rainfall in the yellow is about 3/4 of an inch per hour. The orange you see there is about an inch per hour. And we're just going to keep seeing these storms train from south to north pretty much for the next 6 to 8 hours in that same area. So let me show you a futurecast. And I picked this model because I think this model is doing the best job in terms of the heaviest rain location tonight and the timing of it ending tomorrow. So this is 11 o'clock tonight. So there's your heavy rain. See the reds, the orange, the yellows, boom. Either side of I-81 again, and in this case, west of Winchester and in between Cumberland and Hagerstown. By 1 a.m., it moves a little bit eastward, kind of trying to cross over I-81. By 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, now we have it in Frederick and Leesburg. This will probably wake you up. There could be some gusty winds with this, too. And with all the rain we've had in September, and August, for that matter, we're looking at the potential for some more trees to go down. And we've already seen a couple this evening, with not much wind at all. So this could be intense, about 4 o'clock in the morning. By 6 o'clock, now we have big-time showers and storms, severe, flash flooding, you name it, gusty winds, right through what we call the breadbasket, so right around the Beltway. And that's going to slow you down. So either go in early on Thursday or just try to wait it out and go in a little bit later after the storms pass. By the time it's 8 o'clock, this I agree with. Storms are now Baltimore, now east of I-95. There's still some showers back to the west, but the danger of flooding is over in terms of adding more rain. But this is still a pretty solid line, all the way down into southern Maryland. And then that moves across the bay, essentially by 9:30, 10 o'clock. There's still a couple of big storms left, though, in Charles County and also southern Maryland. And then by 12 o'clock, now we just have light showers in the immediate metro area. So I really like the timing of this. And I think the rush hour, we talked about this yesterday, on Thursday morning is going to be a mess. I really do. And perhaps even dangerous. So here are some models. And this is the GFS. It only has 1/3 of an inch in the metro by 6 o'clock in the morning. That I could probably go along with. What I don't like about this model is it doesn't have much rain out here. Has less than an inch in Cumberland, Romney, Luray, Front Royal. Dollars to donuts, they're going to have 1 to 2 inches by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then by 6:30 in the afternoon or evening, now it has 3/4 of an inch in the metro and maybe an inch in Martinsburg and Frederick and Hagerstown. I just think that's a little too underdone, if you will, and that is the American model, the new American model. So here's the graph. This is a little local model. Now this I kind of think is maybe pushing it too far east too fast. Has an inch in D.C. and 2 inches in Gaithersburg by 6 a.m., but this is the model that we showed you the animation with. And this makes sense because it had those heavy line of storms at 4 o'clock in the morning just west of town. So that's certainly possible. I think it still underdoes our friends along I-81 and up into Cumberland. I really do. By the time we get to, say, 6 o'clock, not much is added to our original totals, but everybody has 1, 2 to 3 inches of rain with this model, which I think is a pretty good estimate. I really do. I think it's going to be a pretty good estimate before all is said and done. All right, so there's the flash flood watch again. It includes D.C., Fairfax, Montgomery, and all of Loudoun County. Any questions, Melissa? That's okay. We'll do specific locations. We can do that. Well, Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, your heaviest rain will be between now and about 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're under the flash flood watch as well. So I think you're going to see probably another inch of rain overnight. And then you'll probably see sun tomorrow afternoon. Fauquier County, well, we've got your northern part of the county still under the flash flood watch. They have not changed that. So if you're in the northern part, you still are under the flood watch, but of course you can get heavy rain, outside that line, obviously, in southern Fauquier. But we're still looking at some pretty heavy downpours for you, again, during the morning rush. Frederick County, Maryland, I think. There's two of them, Maryland. Well, you're still under the flash flood watch. You've been under that for a long time. And I think your heavy rain will also be coming in the pre-dawn hours of the morning or, right around the early part of rush hour. And then it'll taper off to showers. And, places like Frederick and Leesburg and even Gaithersburg and Fairfax might even see a glimpse of the sun tomorrow, late. Will the flash flood watch be extended to Anne Arundel? I don't think so, because they would have probably done so already. And same for Prince George's County. But you know what? I mean, it isn't like they know, woo, I can't rain hard over here because I'm not in the flood watch. So, you still should be on the lookout for some heavy rain, heavy thunderstorms, especially for you folks in Anne Arundel County. I would say more along the 6 to 8 time frame tomorrow morning. What time will it stop raining in Bethesda? I think it will stop raining hard in Bethesda by 7, 8 o'clock, and I think it'll stop showering in Bethesda by 12 or 1. I want people to practice these, okay? If you're watching now and you're going to work, you come across a flooded street, you know what to do, okay? No excuse. Some folks want to know about the Eastern Shore and Ocean City. It's going to take a while to get over there. Tomorrow is not going to be a pretty day. They're going to have some heavy thunderstorms during the morning and probably through at least the early afternoon hours. And some of those could be severe. Tornadoes are not likely, but it's not out of the question. We don't have that convective heat that we get in the summertime, but we have a lot of dynamics with this system, and that can sometimes overcome and create some shear and make tornadoes possible. They would be small, and they're going to be probably a better chance on the Eastern Shore, but there's a slight chance here. Anybody else? Ashburn for tonight, you may be able to walk the dog and not get wet. You still need the dog towels, though, because the grass is a mess. But then overnight, that's when everything pushes toward you. I would say your critical hours would be 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. Hagerstown, you get kind of a break right now, but heavy rain is not far off from you. And so heavy rain right now is kind of concentrating on Cumberland and Harrisonburg, but it's going to shift eastward a little bit after midnight. So I would be concerned about heavy rain in Hagerstown, probably between, say, 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., something like that. Alexandria, you have a break now. There's a couple of sprinkles down to the south, but for the most part, we kind of have a respite in the metro. But Old Town, Alexandria area, same thing. Pre-dawn to early hours of the morning, so maybe 5 to 8, something like that, 5 to 9. These are pretty heavy now, by the way. You see the lightning? Increase in lightning strikes indicates a little better convection, a little stronger storm. So it's hammering Charlottesville, Harrisonburg, and this is what's training northward up toward Cumberland. For the time being, it's west of you folks in Winchester, but it won't be for long. Fairfax/Chantilly. I was in Chantilly yesterday, actually, at the Children's Science Center. Same deal, a respite tonight, and then 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning till 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning is going to be when the heavy rain rolls through, and perhaps heavy thunderstorms as well. But notice if you look at this, it's just not moving east hardly at all. It's moving essentially due north. And that's part of the dynamics of this system. We got a screaming jet stream taking this due north. Will it be thundering when the kids go to school in Montgomery County? Yeah, some of the kids that go super early, maybe. But in any event, I would take a umbrella. And if it is thundering, of course, keep the kids in the car. Good question. It's not that the question is this line supposed to come together more after midnight? It's together now. It's just way out west. It's just going to take all of this time for it to march eastward. So that's the problem. It may intensify a little bit as it gets toward us, but essentially it's already together. There's been some pretty good rainfall out to the west. I mean, this is pretty intense. You see all the reds, and the yellows, and the oranges. I mean, that's not a solid line, but that's pretty intense, and it looks more solid west of Charlottesville, down 64, where 64 and 81 go meet. So it's there. I mean, it's there. I mean, it's not, you know, there's no reds or oranges out here, but there's some pretty heavy rain out toward Romney right now. And really, this is going to kind of tell you the story. I mean, this is 11 o'clock tonight. That's together. That's got us act together. It's just west of us. 1 o'clock, not quite as intense, but pretty intense. You know, Culpeper to Hagerstown. And then 4 o'clock, here it comes. Frederick, Leesburg, almost, well, down 95 and over toward Warrenton. So now you're in the Fairfax, Chantilly area, and really almost in Poolesville by 4 o'clock in the morning. And then, boom, by 6 o'clock. Notice this magenta here? That's kind of a little troublesome. That could be some super heavy rain. Could be a little isolated EF0 tornado. Could be some hail, too, although hail's kind of off the table for this situation. But by 6 o'clock in the morning, there might be enough cold air aloft to produce some hail. But that's 6 o'clock in the morning right through the metro. More questions. Is it possible flights will be delayed at a BWI? Yes, I would say so. I would say yes. I mean, this is 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll advance it now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. They'll probably wait until 9 or 10. Hopefully your plane will be there. But if you're taking a flight at 9, it might be super late because the plane might not be allowed to come in, you know, as opposed to landing at 6 a.m. It may, you know, be 3 hours late. Okay, good questions. By noon, we're just left with light showers. Heavy activity should be across the bay. And some models are still holding showers all the way back, really even further west. But I think this has a pretty decent handle on it. Let me get over here. Will we see storms in Lexington Park? Yeah, they might go that far south. It would take until probably 6 o'clock in the morning to arrive. So, yeah, it's possible. I mean, this model keeps a pretty solid line all the way through southern Maryland. And so it kind of keeps its, you know, that's a pretty solid line, too. Kind of keeps it together, just moves it painstakingly slowly eastward. Any more questions? We saw a little bit of lightning out to the west, not a lot, but some. And when we see that, we kind of perk up a little bit because that's often an indication that the storm's getting a little stronger. The individual storm, that is. Total rainfall for Martinsburg, I think you're a lock for 1 to 2 inches. For some reason, some of the models have you less than that, but I really think you know, this doesn't have to go. Remember, these rainfall rates are 1 to 2 inches per hour. If it's over you for half an hour to an hour, you've got your 1 to 2 inches. So I think 1 to 2 inches for Martinsburg is a pretty good estimate. Now, you folks in the mountains, you know, will see the sun tomorrow much earlier. You'll dry out a little bit by noon and 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No more coming in? Okay. Well, I'm just going to go through this again because this is probably the best graphic we can show you as to what we think is going to happen. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. So heavy activity, Winchester down toward Culpeper. And notice we see some red here. That's intense, okay? By the time we get to 4 o'clock, it just kind of, you know, explodes. Much more red visible, even deep red up near Frederick. So this, I guess my biggest threat, or my biggest concern from the biggest threat would be flash flooding. Yeah, we could see some damaging winds. We could see an isolated tornado, but yeah, this is going to not do the rush hour any good. By the time we get to 6 o'clock, now it's across the entire metro. Ending, though, a little bit in Fairfax County, but still hammering Montgomery, the district, well, parts of Fairfax and down into southern Maryland. So, you know, a lot of folks are on the road by 6 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be tough. Again, if you get up and you see Chester and Mary tomorrow and the radar looks like that, I would just wait. It's just not worth putting yourself in harm's way, especially if you have to go through a flood-prone area like, like Rock Creek Park in that area, and Beach Drive. I mean, it's just not worth it. By 7:30, 8 o'clock, it's now mainly east of 95, Prince George's County, down into southern Maryland. And it's questions about Lexington Park. Yeah, it goes all the way down into southern Maryland with a big storm at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think anybody's going to escape pretty significant rainfall. I would think pretty much everybody sees an inch of rain, and then it's just a question of who sees the pockets of 2 inches and maybe even 3 inches of rain. This is 9:30, still hanging on to a pretty good storm in southern Prince George's County, and a little moderate activity up out Route 7 into Fairfax near Drainesville and Great Falls. So that's, 9 o'clock. By midday, we're, light showers, but we're not in any danger for severe weather. So once we get through the 9, 10 o'clock hour, I think we're going to be okay in terms of severe weather. Any más preguntas? Okay, I like locations, okay. Yes, southern Fauquier will get some storms. It's going to take a while. So we'll kind of stop it here. And so it's going to be between about 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And southern Fauquier, you're technically not under the flash flood watch. We talked about this, but you still could get a heavy storm. So don't let your guard down. Any other locations? Charlottesville tomorrow morning. Let's see. Let's see here. So this is 11 o'clock tonight. Probably by the time we get to morning, you should be okay. I don't think you'll see any heavy rain. That should end by 2 o'clock tonight. Maybe an early shower by 6, but I think you'll see sunshine by noon, 1 o'clock. Yeah, not it. Washington County, our friends up with Hagerstown. Big time rains between now and 3, 4 o'clock. Look at this, boom. Flash flooding is likely, but the good news for you folks in Washington County is everything is well east of you by 6 a.m. You have some showers, and then by 8 o'clock, still some light showers, but everything is well to the east of you. So, once you get through 6 or 7 o'clock, probably about 7 o'clock, your threat for severe weather is over. But I do want to caution folks that even though, let's say this comes to pass, let's say this is perfect, and we've got this big line of showers and storms east of town, you still could be experiencing flooding in places like Frederick and Leesburg and Hagerstown, even though it's been about an hour since the heavy rain rolled through. So just keep that in mind. Some of it will be flash flooding. Some of it will come up 45 minutes, half an hour, and go away. Some of it may take longer. So just, which is why we mentioned tonight, and also when Ida came through, it's good to have more than half a tank of gas in case you have to go a different route, a circuitous route. D.C., well, boom. 8 o'clock, it's just moving through D.C., just past D.C. So our critical hours in town here are 5 to 8, 5 to 7 in the morning. Good questions. Good questions. Fredericksburg, yeah, you folks are going to get, I think the line extends even down to you by about 4 o'clock in the morning, but by 6 or 7, you're just left with light showers, but at least wet roads. St. Charles, you have to wait until early morning, 6, 7, 8 o'clock would be your probably critical hours. Yeah. Stafford County, yeah, same deal. You're going to probably see the heaviest activity 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then some residual showers till 9, but the threat of severe weather should be over by 7 or 8. Yeah, I like that. The commute from Rockville to Manassas at about 6:30 in the morning. I don't know, a headache, a mess, a nightmare? I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be great. Let me back this up for you. So, I'm sorry, you say 6 o'clock, Melissa? Is that what you said? Yeah, I mean, not great. We'll stop this here at 6. So there you've got heavy rain. I guess the best news is the heavy rain's moved out of Manassas, but you're going to have to, go around, come around the Beltway and go out 66. Not great. If you could delay that, that might be great. Going earlier is going to do you no good. So later's better. Fort Washington, your critical hours would be about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. In terms of the heavy activity. We still need our umbrellas until noon or 1 o'clock, but I'm just talking about this big stuff, this heavy stuff. Yeah. Tomorrow, by the way, is our first full day of fall, and, well, it's going to feel like fall. Tennessee. Okay, I don't know of Chattanooga, Maryland, so, okay, I don't know. I think that appears as a joke many times. I could widen it. Well, the radar's almost wide. Summit Point, West Virginia. Well, by 6 o'clock in the morning, notice we're seeing clearing skies out here. So you're going to see sun by, early morning, well west, and places like Hagerstown and Martinsburg and Winchester see sun probably by noon. Okay. Well, I'm going to go back and look at some new data. I'll see everybody at 11, and we'll have a new run on it, and we'll see if the models, are still not in perfect agreement in terms of timing and amounts of rainfall. But again, what I think, everybody's going to see an inch of rain, and then it's a question of who sees the 2 to 3 inches, and I think that's going to be Winchester to Cumberland to Hagerstown to maybe Frederick. But I think even north of town, even as close maybe as Gaithersburg, could see over an inch, maybe 2 inches of rain. Again, with this line coming through, it doesn't take much to dump an inch or 2 of rain. We saw that earlier today. We had some pretty big storms and downpours about 3:30 in Northwest. It didn't last long, but you couldn't see very far, and it slowed traffic down. Well, this is probably twofold of that. That's going to be a mess and could become dangerous tomorrow morning. So please don't cross a flooded street. We don't want to see folks. You don't want to have to put emergency operators or workers at risk trying to get you because you drove through a flooded street. Just wait. If it doesn't go down in 30 minutes, then just go around it. All right, so we'll have brand new information at 11. And also we have some video. There were a lot of trees fell today, even though it wasn't terribly windy. We'll show you a bit of that video of that as well. If you send a picture tomorrow morning, take it safely and hashtag WSA9Weather. Download our app. Hopefully you have it already. Down to the bottom right is a thing called Near Me. You just take a picture, do Near Me, and it uploads to our newsroom. So that's pretty easy. I've done it, which means you can do it. All right, thanks everybody. I will see you tonight at 11.